The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
LaGrange, Georgia is a gorgeous city that is filled with beautiful homes, unique shops and eateries, and numerous historical landmarks. Today, a new chapter in LaGrange's history begins as powerboat racing takes to the waters of West Point Lake. Get ready, race fans. RMG's Hydro Zone from LaGrange starts now. Race fans, welcome to beautiful Pyne Road Park in LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia, where it's time to kick up the waters of West Point Lake at the inaugural LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. Hello again, everyone. Jared Romsberg here, so proud to be in LaGrange covering this fantastic event where it's time for the LaGrange Troup County Bureau of Tourism pre-race show. LaGrange, Georgia, on the shores of West Point Lake. Thousands came to West Point Lake yesterday to enjoy racing that included Formula 2 qualifying. Rob Rinker from Riverview, Florida earned the pole position in the time trials, but Rinker in the Amsoil 30 was slow off of the dock, and his brother Ashton Rinker in the Amsoil 20 took off with the lead as they exploded onto the course. 27 Mark Profit from Jacksboro, Tennessee stayed in Ashton's back pocket, but soon brother Rob shot the Amsoil 30 past Profit on the inside, taking second place. Seconds later, on the same lap, disaster struck our leader, Ashton Rinker, as he and the 81 boat of Tom Ludwig made contact in turn 3, sending Ludwig upside down in a shower of debris and forcing Ashton Rinker to limp to the shoreline. Luckily, both drivers were okay, but the Amsoil 20 and Ashton Rinker were out of qualifying. Rob Rinker was on the pole for the restart with 80 Brent Dillard right next door, but another bad start kept Rinker on the dock, and Dillard took off with the lead, with 14 Barry McCullough in tow. Rob Rinker and McCullough wowed the crowd with side-by-side racing and were soon joined by 2 Lee Daniel in the fight for second. But the caution would fly again as 34 Jeff Reno was stopped on the front stretch. Reno's woes would continue as, shortly after the restart, he barrel rolled to 34 between turns 3 and 4. Reno was okay, but the Okeechobee, Florida driver was out of qualifying. In Heat Race 2, Brinken, Georgia's Michael Floyd was on the pole, but when the green dropped, it was Lee Daniel, Barry McCullough, and Brent Dillard leading the way to the pin. Soon, 27 Mark Profit moved on the inside of Brent Dillard and stole the second place slot in turns 3 and 4. A few laps later, Rob Rinker in the Amsoil 30 would use a similar move to get by Profit and move into the third place slot. With only a few laps remaining, Rob Rinker moved to the outside of Barry McCullough and fought for the second place slot. He took the slot as they flew down the front stretch. In the final laps of the race, Rob Rinker had moved to within 3 boat lengths of our leader, Lee Daniel, but Daniel exploded out of turn 4, and the White Deuce took home the win in Heat Race 2. With qualifying complete, let's meet the top 3 starters at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. Starting third is Dalzell, South Carolina's Brent Dillard. While the heat race cautions hurt other drivers' chances, Dillard says they helped his.
Well, the water condition wasn't too bad. It's just being in the boat for so long, there were so many red flags, and that was actually good for me. I kept moving up. Every red flag seemed like I was staying out of the way, and every restart, I was coming off the dock blazing. So every time I had a restart, I moved up.
Starting second is another South Carolinian, North Augusta, South Carolina's Lee Daniel. He knows the competition is tough.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. It was tough competition out there. Luckily, we got the boat running pretty well, so we got a good start. We still got to beat the optic. They pretty much run you down, and Dillard, he's fast off the dock, so I got to watch him.
And starting on the pole is Riverview, Florida's Rob Rinker. He knows he has a fleet of anxious drivers gunning for his spot.
Well, I know they're going to be coming strong right off the start. I hope we keep our lanes straight. But as of yesterday, they jumped me off the start then, and it was a fight to get back up there. But I think the motor's got it. I mean, at the end of the straightaways, it's eating them up.
Now let's meet the rest of the starting grid for the 2014 LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. The lone Texan in the fleet, Barry McCullough, qualified 4th. Jacksboro, Tennessee's Mark Profit qualified 5th. Zimmerman, Minnesota's Merv Bjork qualified 6th. The Hurricane Michael Floyd from Rincon, Georgia qualified 7th. Okeechobee, Florida's Jeff Reno will start 8th. Riverview, Florida's Ashton Rinker went to a backup boat and qualified 9th. And the last slot on the dock is occupied by Millersport, Ohio's John Ludwig. Grab a seat, race fans. More racing from the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix is coming up right after this.
This segment of the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix is brought to you by GPS Studios, specializing in corporate communications.
Race fans, welcome back to West Point Lake in the 2014 LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. The LaGrange Troup County area is filled with beautiful sights like Bellevue. This immaculate pre-Civil War home hosted many of the top leaders of the Confederacy. Callaway Clock Tower is something you have to see in LaGrange. Dedicated in 1929, it was built with funds contributed by Callaway Mills employees in memory of the company's founder, Fuller Callaway Sr. Callaway's home, Hills and Dales Estate, is known as one of the finest historical homes in the United States. Explorations and Antiquities Center is a first-century Middle Eastern village where tourists experience the ancient biblical world, its history, and culture. The oldest private college in Georgia, LaGrange College, is a gorgeous 4-year liberal arts school that has been named a best value by U.S. News and World Report for 10 years running. Finally, you cannot miss Lafayette Square in the heart of downtown LaGrange. A statue of the Marquis de Lafayette tops the picturesque fountain. The Revolutionary War hero Lafayette said this area of Georgia reminded him of his own estate in France, named LaGrange. So that is how LaGrange got its name. Learn more about this beautiful part of Western Georgia by visiting lagrangechamber.com. LaGrange is quickly getting a name as one of the finest places for powerboat racing. Let's check out some of the other action from the 2014 LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. The Grand National inboard hydroplanes were on the card and wowed the crowd at West Point Lake. Danny Walls, Jared Walls, Kevin Kreitzer, and Steve Core II were ripping around at speeds at over 140 miles per hour and blasting out 3-story high rooster tails. These beasts are powered by Chevy big block engines running at over 7,200 RPM. The thunderous noise from the Detroit Iron thundering around West Point Lake could be heard for miles, and the fans absolutely loved it. In the 2 days of racing, it was Danny Walls that came out on top in the inaugural LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix on West Point Lake. Also on the card at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix were the fast-turning Formula 3 boats. Chicago, Illinois' Sam LaBanco in the white 44 earned the pole position and took off with the lead, with 16 Carol Reno and 89 Bill Mastro and others flying right behind and working hard to catch up to LaBanco. Soon, Carol Reno was pestered by 58 Jeff Cresciano for the second-place position behind LaBanco, but Reno dropped the hammer and pulled away. LaBanco made quick work of this one, and he cruised to victory in a Formula 3 feature at the 2014 LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. He was joined on the podium by Carol Reno and Jeff Cresciano. Bill Mastro and Steve DiNicolantonio round out the field in the Formula 3 feature race. Well, gang, the Formula 2 drivers are getting strapped into the cockpit. They're moving off of the trailers and are starting to make their way to the start dock. We are now just minutes away from the start of the Formula 2 feature race at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. Don't move, race fans. We race right after this.
This segment of the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix is brought to you by the LaGrange Troup County Bureau of Tourism, LaGrange, Georgia, on the shores of West Point Lake.
Race fans, welcome back to LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia, where our pole sitter, Rob Rinker, coming in a little hot, coming up to the dock. He's chomping at the bit, as are the rest of the drivers, ready to get this Formula 2 feature off and running here at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. There's Rob Rinker on the pole. Lee Daniel, Brent Dillard, Barry McCullough, and Mark Profit are your top 5 starters. But I'm telling you, gang, anybody on this dock could take home the trophy here at this first ever Formula 2 race on West Point Lake. We now go dockside. The belts are tightened, the canopies are closed, the fuel pumps are on, the fingers are on the trigger. All eyes are now on the flagman as we wait for the drop of the flag. And we're racing in LaGrange.
Go, 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 go! Inside, move, he can. Clear the inside. Stay with Daniel,
Again, we see our pole sitter, Rob Brinker, with a slow start in the 2 of Lee Daniel explodes with the lead, with 80 Brent Dillard right in his pocket as they fly down the front stretch.
That's a great job. Punch it now, punch it.
Lee Daniel tries to move away with the lead as they stack up behind him for second, side by side for second, side by side for fourth behind them. Mark Profit in the 27, Barry McCullough in the 14 going side by side for fourth as the battle for second continues. Whoa, Rob Brinker has to get out of the throttle. And now Brent Dillard tries to move up alongside of our leader, Lee Daniel, as they're going to go 3 wide behind them for third.
Good job. Oh, there you go. You're in third now. Come on, baby. Okay, got Profit outside you. Don't let him go.
Barry McCullough in the 14 holds that inside line, and now he moves alongside of Brent Dillard. Side-by-side battle for second. Brent Dillard in the 80, Barry McCullough in the 14. Dillard tries to pull away. Here comes Mark Profit on the outside. Rob Brinker on the inside. They're going to go side-by-side. Ladies and gentlemen, throw that proverbial blanket over positions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In this incredible battle here on the waters of West Point Lake in LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia. Side by side for second. Brent Dillard on the outside. Barry McCullough in the red 14 on the inside, trying to catch up to Lee Daniel in the white 2 in the lead. Barry McCullough in the red 14, a fantastic turn out of turn 4. Here comes Rob Brinker on the inside of Brent Dillard to go side by side, battling for third. Brent Dillard in the orange 80. Rob Brinker in the black Ames Oil 10 are going to go side by side for third. Here comes Mark Profit in the black 27 on the outside. Barry McCullough now within 2 boat lengths of our leader as Dillard shoots wide outside of turn 2. And that could open the door for 27 Mark Profit, but Lee Daniel, our leader now, ahead of him, he has nothing but clear water, but right behind him, here comes Barry McCullough. Barry McCullough now within a boat length of our leader as they come out of turn 4. Whoa, McCullough goes way wide out of turn 4. Here comes Rob Brinker on the outside of him. Lee Daniel tries to move away, and here comes Rob Brinker on the outside of Barry McCullough. Rob Brinker in the Ames Oil 30, side-by-side battle for second as they fly across the line and into turn 1. Side-by-side battle continues. Barry McCullough on the inside. Rob Brinker in the Ames Oil 30 on the outside. Side-by-side battle. Fans on their feet on the shoreline of West Point Lake as Rob Brinker and Barry McCullough provide early race fireworks side-by-side for second. McCullough on the inside, Rob Brinker on the outside in the black Ames Oil 10. Here they go, Brinker trying to hold some momentum out of turn 4. McCullough on the inside, Brinker on the outside, side-by-side battle for second. And the Ames Oil 30 lurches ahead, taking the second place slot. And now Brinker moves his attention to try to catch up to that 2 boat, the General Lee Daniel in the lead.
Nice. Keep working that angle.
Rob Brinker trying to catch up to the leader, but he's got to be aware of that red 14 boat. Barry McCullough not giving up. McCullough now trying to move up on the inside of Brinker. Our leader, Lee Daniel, just got out of the throttle a little bit. Here comes Rob Brinker on the outside of him. Side-by-side battle for the lead. Barry McCullough trying to come up and join the party. We might have a 3-wide battle for the lead. Here they come out of turn 4. Lee Daniel in the white 2. Rob Brinker in the Ames Oil 30. Side-by-side battle for the lead. And Rob Brinker drops the hammer and puts the Ames Oil 30 into the lead here in LaGrange. Fantastic racing action thus far here in the Formula 2 feature race, as now we see Mark Profit move to the outside of Barry McCullough. Rob Brinker puts the throttle down. He wants to get away from the pack because there is a lot of fighting right behind him. Here comes Mark Profit on the outside of Barry McCullough. They're going to go side by side as they fly into turn 3.
You can see what's around you. You got one on the inside. He's slowing down. Lee Daniels is in front of you. Come on.
14, Barry McCullough had trouble out of turn 4, and Mark Profit now takes the 3rd place slot here in LaGrange as he rockets down the front stretch, and now he's coming up on our 2nd place driver, Lee Daniel. Lee Daniel again out of the throttle. Mark Profit on the outside of him. Side-by-side battle, race fans, another one. This time it's for second. Mark Profit on the outside, and he rockets past Lee Daniel, moving into the 2nd place slot behind Rob Brinker. Race fans, I am quite certain we cannot repeat what's being said in the cockpit of that number 2 boat right now. Lee Daniel had the lead for the first 5 laps of the race, and then Rob Brinker went by him, and less than a minute later, Mark Profit puts the General into 3rd. Our leader, Rob Brinker, had a rocky start, but man, did he come back. He's now in the lead. You can see 2nd place, Mark Profit, just now coming onto the backstretch, and there's Lee Daniel, our 3rd place boat, now in the middle of the backstretch. As we hop on board with Lee, you can see the leader, Rob Rinker, becoming a dot on the horizon, now leaving turn 4. That's Rinker Racing's MO, gang. They like to get out in the lead, hit the throttle, and put a lot of distance between them and the rest of the fleet. Mark Profit in second, started 5th on the dock, having a fantastic race so far, but he's got his work cut out for him, trying to catch up to that AMSOIL 30 of Rob Rinker. We've got to step out for a break, but there's plenty of racing left here in LaGrange. Don't move a muscle. We'll drop the checkered flag when we come back right after this.
This segment of the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix is brought to you by the LaGrange Troup County Bureau of Tourism, LaGrange, Georgia, on the shores of West Point Lake.
Race fans, welcome back to beautiful West Point Lake in LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia, where Rob Rinker in the AMSOIL 30 is our leader, and he's giving us a front row seat for a battle for 4th between Brent Dillard in the orange 80 and Barry McCullough in the red 14. That's right, our leader, Rob Rinker, took the lead on lap 5 and has been working his way through the fleet, putting boat after boat a lap down, and now he's coming up on the battle for 4th as Brent Dillard is working hard to keep his orange 80 ahead of that red 14 of Barry McCullough. Barry McCullough had some trouble out of turn 4, and Brent Dillard is going to be allowed to escape with 4th.
Okay, now dig hard. All right, good job. Keep pushing now. That's Lee Daniels. That's the next boat we got to get. Stay after him.
Fans, you can see the pummeling the 80 Dillard Financial Services boat has taken. Our onboard camera now askew. Brent Dillard trying to catch up to the 3rd place Lee Daniel. Be right on board with our leader, Rob Rinker, in the black AMSOIL 30. Rob taking over the controls of that boat from his father, Terry Rinker, who's moved on to focus on his Formula One program. And now Rob is going to give us a front row seat for the battle for the 3rd place position. You can see Brent Dillard in the bright orange 80 boat. The white boat is Lee Daniel on the inside. Daniel hugs the pin. This is a battle for the last place on the podium. Our leader coming up right in the middle of a fight, but Lee Daniel trims it up, and he's going to hold on to the 3rd place slot as we catch up to our 2nd place driver, Mark Profit from Jacksboro, Tennessee. Back to our leader as he's moving through lap traffic, and just inches apart from our 4th place driver, Brent Dillard. And now Rob Rinker continues to work his way through the front runners. That's Lee Daniel to his left. Mark Profit back in 2nd, now coming out of turn 4. He's trying to work his way through the fleet as well.
Come on, pick it up, bro.
Profit spotter telling him to pick up the pace as the leader now is trying to get by our 3rd place driver. That's Rob Rinker, our leader, on the outside of Lee Daniel. And our leader, Rob Rinker, gets by Lee Daniel again, putting our 3rd place driver a lap down. That's right, gang. Rob Rinker has lapped all but one boat in the fleet, and that boat is Mark Profit in 2nd. He's now going into turn 4. Don't know if there are enough laps left in this race for Rinker to catch up to him, but the AMSOIL 30 is just blowing through the fleet. Right on board with Jeff Reno. Great camera angle here on the 34 boat, watching our leader go by. And now we have a battle shaping up, race fans, out of turn 2. There's a battle for 5th going on as we hop on board with Mark Profit. He'll give you a front row seat. Merv Bjork in the black 32, haven't called his name all race. Here he comes up along Brent Dillard, and he moves into the 5th place slot. There's Barry McCullough in 4th. That red 14 is our 4th place boat. And there goes Merv Bjork on the inside. Merv Bjork from Zimmerman, Minnesota, driving that Total Medical Supply 32. He's creating some late race drama here with 3 laps to go in the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix. He hugs that pin, but Barry McCullough holds on to some momentum coming out of turn 2, and they're going to make a Jeff Reno sandwich as Reno right smack in the middle of this battle. Merv Bjork in the 32, Barry McCullough in the 14. They're trying to set up a battle as they fly down the backstretch into turn 3. McCullough now into turn 4, and whoa, Bjork goes wide in between turns 3 and 4. That's going to kill a lot of his momentum. And with less than 2 laps to go now, I don't think there's enough race left for Bjork to come back and catch up to McCullough.
Okay, remember, the only way to lose is to hit a buoy. Leave one lane on the buoys.
Rob Rinker's spotter, James Chambers, telling him just to keep it clean as he goes around. Less than 2 laps remaining. And Mark Profit about a straightaway's length back as he gets around Brent Dillard now. Dalzell, South Carolina's Brent Dillard, the vibrant thing, not having the kind of day he was hoping for. Started 3rd on the dock, now back in 6th. Whoa! man, Brent Dillard having trouble there. Went through the rooster tail in wake of Mark Proffitt's boat. And some late race fireworks from Brent Dillard. He got it back together, but man, that could have been disastrous as the white flag is now in the air.
All right, run to the checker. Checker flag's out for you.
Rob Brinker started on the pole, had a horrendous start, had to work his way back up through half the fleet, took the lead on lap 5 and hasn't looked back. Race fans, your winner of the Formula 2 feature at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix is Riverview, Florida's Rob Brinker. Mark Proffitt will cross the line in second. Lee Daniel will be your third place finisher. Fans, don't move a muscle. The West Point Lake post-race show is coming up right after this. Race fans, welcome back to West Point Lake in beautiful LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia, where you're looking at your winner of the Formula 2 feature here at the LaGrange Powerboat Grand Prix, Rob Brinker, riding along with his mother, holding a checkered flag as we welcome you to the West Point Lake post-race show. West Point Lake, all kinds of fun. Now let's catch up with Lee Daniel, our third place finisher.
Yeah, the water was great out there. It wasn't too bad. This is a beautiful place to race. I would love to come back. Had some tough competition today, and we ended up third. We boat in one piece, and we done a pretty good job. I'm glad to see it, and I'm glad everybody was safe today, and we'll be back.
32 Merv Bjork started 7th, but he wound up with a top 5 finish after a great late race battle with Barry McCullough. Here's our second place finisher, Mark Proffitt.
Oh, it was a great race. You know, we had some trouble yesterday. We got in a little bang up, knocked a hole in the boat. Didn't get the starting position that we wanted, but we come off the dock, run a couple laps, and started picking some guys off. Rob just got in front of me at the start and just couldn't run him down.
As we said earlier in the show, gang, Brent Dillard started third on the dock, a disappointing 6th place finish for the South Carolinian. Michael Floyd, Ashton Rinker, Jeff Reno, and John Ludwig round out the top 10. Here's the man of the hour, Rob Brinker.
Oh, it feels great. Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough start. You know, the guys on the right of me had a little bit more power off the start, but we knew it would just be a fight to get to the front, and fortunately, that's what we did.
Fans, we had an absolutely fantastic weekend of racing here at West Point Lake in beautiful LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia. Action-packed racing all weekend long, with Rob Brinker taking home the checkered flag in the Formula 2 feature race. Many thanks to everyone in LaGrange, Troup County, Georgia for a fantastic weekend. For the entire RMG Sports crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. Until next time, fans, we'll see you on the water.